Yo, what up guys, MxgicIQ here, and today I'm showing you guys my 180SX drift build. I run this all the time on stream, and a lot of you guys have been asking for it. Make sure you guys pull up to the Twitch because we've been running open lobbies and having a great time over there, doing a lot of car meets, drifting, finding new sections, toge sections, things like that. So make sure you guys pull up. We do cruises as well, and it's a ton of fun. So for this 180SX today, you are going to be RB26 swapping this thing. You can leave the stock motor in it. Just make sure your power to weight ratio is relatively the same. If you don't know how to calculate power to weight ratio, use a calculator that you could probably Google or something like that, just to keep the build relatively similar. Copy the transmission, suspension, and wheel settings, and you should be just fine as long as the gearing is the same. So let's go ahead and get into the engine though. It's all completely maxed out. What you're going to want to do on every single motor, personally, this is how I build all my drift cars. The torque at low is going to be all the way max. The torque at medium is going to be right in the center. And for your peak RPM, you're going to max that and your ECU rev limiter out completely. Okay, so you guys are going to want to make sure you go ahead and minimum upgrade those parts. If you're going for a little bit of a cheaper budget build, I always upgrade the engine block first, the cylinder head, and then I go for the ECU to be able to max out the revs. And usually it's a boosted car that I'm drifting, especially the grassroots drift builds, and those are always going to have turbos stock. So if you want to turn up the turbine pressure without having to invest in a turbo, it's very nice to be able to just go ahead and grab that race ECU and go ahead and do that. But as far as the ultimate builds go, where we have everything maxed out, this is what I run regardless. So I hope this helps you guys right now. Let's go ahead and check out the transmission. So for the transmission, we're actually running an ultimate clutch. We're also running a vicious 60 differential, and we're running the ultimate gearbox as well to be able to tune our gears. We're still using the T50 SX1, the 5-speed gearbox that is going to be coming stock in this car. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade that though. We're going to shift the gear shifting speed all the way to the left to make it as quick as possible. Our final drive is set at 2.85. Our first gear is at 3.05. We're leaving the second gear. Our third gear is at 1.21. We're leaving the fourth and fifth, and then we're going down to our transmission loss and turning it all the way to the left at 100% diff locking ratio. So you're going to go ahead and turn that differential locking all the way to 100, and that's going to help you out very, very nicely there to get the wheels spinning at the same rate of speed. If you guys wanted to be a little bit quicker, you could lower that as well. And when we get to the suspension, there's one other change you can make as well to make your build a little bit more realistic feeling. As I will say, this car is very, very nice, but it can feel unrealistic because it is literally impossible to spin out. So it depends on how you like to play the game. Me personally, if I'm in an open lobby chilling, just trying to get doors, this car is one of my go-tos because it's very, very hard to mess up. You can always keep a consistent lead line. Obviously, for something like comp, I'd want something a little bit more risky to pull a little bit more angle, and also to be able to just comfortably maneuver around the track. If there's very, very, very small hairpins, for some reason, you might not be able to throw all the angle you want. So just keep that in mind when building this car, and you can adjust what we're going to tell you about in the suspension accordingly. Okay, so for the body, we are stage 4 body here. Personally, I'd rather be stock body and then invest in the weight reduction, but when I got this car from the homie, it already had stage 4 body on it, and I don't really feel like going ahead and repaying for that. If for some reason I feel like doing time attack in this car or something, and I go ahead and pick up a second S18 at some point, or 180SX, so we put the weight at stock, and we're sitting right at 1169 kilos, and that's pretty good. I threw the fuel tank in there to add a little bit more weight to the car, and it feels pretty balanced, honestly, in my personal opinion. For the aero, I always go stock front and rear for all of my drift cars. I do not upgrade the aero whatsoever because it will add downforce regardless. So we are running all ultimate parts except for the brake system is completely stock, and that is going to allow us to tune everything to the maximum abilities. Alrighty guys, getting into the suspension here, we got the spring length in the front at 92. Our spring stiffness is going to be at 76. Our camber is -8. Our Ackerman is 10. That's going to be what really keeps you from spinning out. So if you find the build a little bit too easy, if you want to turn that up, you can go all the way back up to max, which I believe is 50, at least for how we have it set right now. Or if you're feeling really ballsy, you can go ahead and throw 90 Ackerman angle in that thing. If you're on wheel, that's what I highly suggest, honestly, you do. Steering angle is maxed out at 62. Our fast bump is 4370, and our fast rebound is 10810. For our rear springs, we are running for the spring length 71. We're running spring stiffness at 36. We're running the camber at -0.5. Me personally, I try to run as close to positive camber as possible in the rear, with negative being around 8 to 10, maybe even 6 in the front. If I'm feeling a little bit, different, I just kind of fill out the fenders properly and make the car look battle stances. That's how I like my drift cars to look. I've actually heard of a lot of people in this game leaving their dampers stock, so it's completely up to you guys. If you guys are on a tight budget, you guys can go ahead and skip that step. Same with this, you can honestly throw in the Elite for the rear, and you won't even have to go ahead and tune it. You can throw in the Racing rear spacer. That's going to save you a little bit of money there. I do go with the Ultimate to fill out the fender here, but you can go ahead and go with just the Elite, and it'll fill it out decently enough. It's not perfect for me. I like it to be a little bit over exaggerated on my drift cars because I think that's how a drift car should look, but it's completely up to you guys. Now, going ahead and taking a look at our pressure here, we're at 2.4 bar on the front and rear, and our front wheel offset is at 19, and our rear wheel offset is at 11. Now, getting into the actual tire size and everything here, in the front, we're running the 235/35 18s in the front, and in the rear, we're running 245/35 18 and a -5 sidewall on each of those tires to get us to our final tire stats up in the corner, which you guys see for the component features, which is a 235/30 18 in the front, a 245/30 18 in the rear, with a 1.05 grip ratio in the back and a 1.04 grip ratio in the front. So make sure you guys stats match mine exactly, okay? That's going to get you the exact same build we got here, and this thing is absolutely smooth as butter. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. I'll see you guys in the next one. It's been MxgicIQ, and I'm out. Peace.